Hi everybody, I'm Natalie the Witch, and this is Witchy's Workshop. Today we're modeling Benson from Regular Show, a character that was suggested to me after I did a model of Flapjack on Facebook. So as you saw earlier in the video, I started with a bunch of simple solids like spheres, cylinders, cubes, and so on. And that's part of what makes Benson such a cool character to model. He's very much a cartoon character, and because of that, his geometry does not necessarily make sense with real life, and that poses quite a challenge for bringing it to life in 3D, especially in areas like where the eyes meet the globe of the head. Some people have suggested to me to try and bend the glass into being the eyebrows, but I just don't think that'd work out the way people think it would, because what I'm doing with this model is using Blender's real-time ray tracing system cycles, and glass doesn't really behave that way. It won't create a shadow, it'll just create reflections that will be just kind of odd looking. Anyway, part of why I enjoy doing cartoon characters is that they force me to do really creative problem solving, which is just about the funnest kind of problem solving. Like, for example, the stylization of the feet being mostly a single curve that leads back up into the body. At this stage in the model, I was wrapping up the globe, bringing it in with an extrusion and then changing the material to show the transparency of the model, while also adding colors to everything else to help make sense of all the various parts. I also wanted to just take a moment to appreciate how beautifully simple Benson's design is. It really gets the idea across that Benson is an angry, living candy ball machine man, and that is just amazing. I love it. So going into this model, I actually needed to do some more hard surface modeling practice, and this proved to be a great opportunity to do that. For example, where the globe interfaces with the rest of the body, that was a big point of growth for me, especially the way I made the glass curve around and into the metal cylinder. While modeling Benson's nose, I noticed how kind of weird it is, and in the art I've seen of the character, it doesn't really make a whole ton of sense. Like, it kind of looks like it's just draping down as a two-dimensional object, while from other angles it's almost this triangle shape. And I saw this in many characters from many other cartoons, in that they don't really draw them from more than 2 or 3 angles in any given shot. Like, for example, Flapjack, you never really see from behind. And similar with Benson, you never see Benson from behind, because you had to solve the problem I run into in short order here, where you can see the eyeballs through the back of the glass, and that is really freaky looking. On the cap, I really liked how I handled the edging on this one. It just looks really nice how it kind of curves into the globe where it meets, while also giving a similar treatment to the main body at its edges. By the way, if there's any cartoons from that era that you really liked, tell me about them in the comments. I've been choosing just random characters to practice on lately, and maybe there's a character out there I wouldn't have thought of on my own. Anyway, back to Benson. It's time to try and start to figure out how I'm going to solve the problems of the eyes and the expression he's making. Step 1 was to flatten the eyes a bit and then give him some pupils, which I thought were completely hilarious because it looked like he was the Boo Brain horse from Adventure Time for a little while there. After making the irises not comically huge, I decided to add in the gumballs that make up the sort of pseudo beard Benson has that fills his head. This was mostly just placing spheres in whatever location made sense, so I'm just going to jump ahead because it was really tedious. The way the gumballs are used to make it look like a beard is such a clever design decision. I did spend a fair bit of time, not recorded, trying to make the eyes work with the glass moving around them, but I ended up just reverting and deciding to go with a more simplistic representation of the expression by literally making the black outlines that describes Benson's face. It also helped hide the fact that his eyeballs are see-through through his head. My first stab at the mouth was to try and make a more angry expression like you would often see Benson make towards Rigby during the show, but it just really wasn't working out. So I decided to go with a simpler lines like smug or critical look, but that didn't look very good either. So I took another crack at the mouth a little bit later. For now, I'm attacking the hands, which were pretty easy. It's just a standard like 3-finger cartoon character type hand. I separated it from the rest of the arm temporarily to help set up the geometry to make the fingers while not distorting the shape of the round rubber hose type arm too much. I've seen some pretty cool takes on Benson's arms and legs as like kind of Sentinel-esque robot arms like you'd see in the Matrix, but I just wanted to stay mostly true to the original character design and not try and make it make too much sense in reality other than just being renderable in 3D. And that is kind of what I enjoy most when I see 3D models, is if they can really capture the original feeling of a character design or the original creator's intent with the way they designed the character, as well as it just being a fun challenge to try and translate the design language to 3D. After adding some bends in the knees and arms, I decided I was done with the expression the character had on, so I softened it up and made it a little bit more friendly and redid the mouth in a way that I feel makes enough sense for the purpose of this model. This time I start with a cylinder and slowly shape that into what I want it to be, while using a cube that is drawn out to make the teeth and add in the little corners that represent the gaps between the teeth themselves. I ended up really liking the solution and how it looked for the mouth, so I added it to the eyes as well, and I think that really helped bring the face together to make it look a lot more cohesive as a model, while also solving that creepy see your eyes through the back of your head thing that I was seeing earlier. And while I was at it, I grabbed some of the vertices from the eyeballs and pulled them out to become the little bits of wrinkle under the eye, and I think that was really effective. It just looked really nice and again helped tie the model together a little bit. After refining the face a little bit more, I start to finalize the materials for all of the parts of the face. The globe, the arms, a little bit more posing, and I added a ground plane to give the presentation a little bit nicer of a presentation. Also, I spent a fair bit of time playing with the lighting to give it just kind of a pleasing glow to the edge. That's sort of my default for character models like these. I also ended up bringing up the back plane and beveling it a bit to soften the shadows and make it a little bit more cohesive. After playing with the lighting just a little bit more and getting the framing just right, I go ahead and render it, and here we are, the final version of the Benson model. If you liked what you saw today and maybe want to hear some more, or come along on my other adventures in learning how to do Blender and all kinds of other creative things, please like and subscribe. And again, if you want to give me any suggestions, just comment down below. Toodles!